live from FBI headquarters. It's Saturday night. Yeah, for all you guys that still think I'm a Fed. Nuts. All right, let's see if y'all can see me, hear me, and we'll get us started here. Here comes my screen. I actually have computers done. North Shore says 5x5. New England Prepper 5x5. Okay, so you guys, on my screen it looks good and clear. Obviously I can hear me, but you guys are all saying the same. All right. So let's get into tonight. Yeah, fun day out here. I'm a little sore shoveling, pitchforking wood chips all day, and then Mrs. P and I were working on pulling stuff out of the garden. Got rid of cucumber plants and pickle plants and a couple of the tomato plants because they're done here. So for all you guys that are still harvesting, yeah, that's the thing. Here it is. It's mid-August, and I'm pulling stuff up and getting ready to prep for my fall plant, or getting ready to do my fall planting. So that was the fun here. I saw a few of you guys talking about it raining. We got a little bit of light showers here, maybe an hour or so ago. It's supposed to be a deluge overnight and tomorrow. And then, like I told you guys in the video today, I guess according to Ryan Hall, it's going to be like dump on Texas time this coming week. So not that you guys in Oklahoma can't use the rain, but guys, be careful about flooding and be prepared for that just in case. 20 inches of rain in a week is an awful lot. The ground ain't going to hold that. So just be prepared. Okay, let's get into something that's kind of important here before we get into Q&A. We all prep, like I said today, for anything from worldwide to personal SHTF. There was a survey that came out of Price Waterhouse last night, and it's a little scary. Survey comes up and says half of U.S. companies are preparing to cut jobs. Okay, that tells you something right there. That you've got 46% of the companies reducing signing bonuses, 44% of the companies are rescinding offers. Okay, that's screwed up. Let's put it that way. Offer somebody a job, they put their 2 weeks notice in, and then come back a few days later and go, never mind. Now the person's totally screwed. That's how lawsuits happen. But I want you guys to be prepared for this. Y'all know better, each one of your individual situations, y'all know better than anybody else would on the security of your job. And I mean, this isn't just fast food or Walmart or whatever it is. This is everywhere that are talking. I mean, retail, housing, you name it, they're talking about cutting down. And the reason being is businesses, companies are now expecting an economic downturn. Who figured? Come out of the sheer blue for that one, right? Yeah, because, I don't know, the writing's been on the wall for 2 years. So, guys, make sure you've got your personal finances squared away as best you can right now, just in case you do experience a job loss. Because while Biden will come out and say unemployment's only at 3.5%, yay, great. Unless you can take whatever job you're working at now, and maybe if you find a job at a fast food restaurant or something like that, making minimum wage, if that'll still hold you, that's what's coming, right? The other part of it too is, I know everybody's going to come and say, there's help wanted signs everywhere. And, I drive through town and every other store's got help wanted out on their marquee. Yeah, okay. Take a resume in and see if they're actually hiring. A lot of companies, and trust me, this is from nearly 20 years in the recruiting industry doing it. All right, I know exactly what's going on. Companies try to build up a resume database. Now hiring. No, actually, now taking applications is more accurate, because they'll take your application, they'll put it in the file, and then when they do need somebody, which ain't today, now they've got a list of people they can call. That's how that works. Trust me, Been there, done that. That's the way it works. Just because the company says now hiring, now doesn't mean today. So I just wanted to give you that. Uh, Another thing I wanted to talk about, guys, is a lot of times we'll all reference books, 1 second after, movies, The Road, whatever it would be. Please understand that and that life is not a movie. Okay, everybody, the guy doesn't kiss the girl in the end, and everybody say what. The one movie I can't remember what the name of the damn thing was. It was Dwayne Johnson, and he was a fire, fireman or something like this or whatever, and there was a massive tidal wave that hit the West Coast, and they were looking for their daughter. You know what movie I'm talking about. That movie's nuts. Okay, it made for good fun, but that ain't realistic. Okay, none of the Terminator series ain't realistic, guys. It's not. Nobody's coming back in time as a assassinating robot. It's not happening. I mean, even if you go into a Mad Max or something, it's great entertainment. It ain't reality. So take a step back for a little bit and go, okay, please, let's deal in reality, not imagination here. Life is not Hollywood. Hollywood does not imitate life. Okay, Hollywood imitates how can we make a buck. That's pretty much what they're doing. So, okay, so that's what I wanted to start with tonight. Nothing real exciting, but the jobs one was important for me to talk to you guys about real quick. So let's get into some Q&A. First thing, of course, I want to thank all my moderators here, Mamie, Jacob, North Shore, Lorna, Cat Lady Life, Lucky Dame, and Robert, all for taking time out of their Saturday night and coming to take out the trash as it shows up. So keep the riffraff out of here. I do appreciate all their help greatly, and I think you guys do too. So please say thank you to the moderators for the hard work they do. You think the chat runs by fast for you when you're trying to read it? Try being them. They're trying to read literally every comment to make sure nobody's out of line. All right. So that being said, as per normal, it's Q&A. Please, 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 if you got a question for me, put it all in all caps, just like every other YouTube channel. That way I can see it. And then, as I ask every week, please keep it PG-13. Please be respectful and polite to everybody else in the chat. Differing opinions are totally fine. Just be polite about it, okay? If you're a Biden supporter, that's fine. You're welcome here. You're probably not going to like anything that's said by me in this video, so I don't know why you're here, but you're more than welcome to stay. So, just saying. But please keep it polite. And then the last thing I will say is, if you've got little ears around, every once in a while my language will get salty. So, fair warning here, PG-13. You will hear the occasional F-bomb dropped. Not every video, but occasionally it does come out. So if you don't want the kids learning that, maybe they need to go grab a coloring book and go to the kitchen. So, or if you're 27-year-old kid, can't handle it, give him a coloring book. Your liberal son, go give him a coloring book and a puppy and let him go off to his bedroom too. But, send him to the basement. It's probably where he lives anyway. Just saying. All right, so let's get into Q&A. And I did good today. 9:08. It's okay, not too bad. All right, so let me get to the top and see what we got. Okay. Hopeful Homestead. Hey, Pinball, how'd your canned stuffed peppers turn out? They're disappearing quickly. Mrs. P absolutely loves them. She wanted to potentially have them for dinner tonight. But no, they turned out fine. No problem with the rice or anything like that. So all came out good. They're not spoiled. We've eaten, probably, let's see, we've had it for dinner twice since I've made it, and I don't know, she has this habit for a midnight snack and goes and steals one every once in a while, but no, they came out fine. So, but again, would somebody call me a rogue canner or something one time? Because, you're not supposed to can zucchini, or, you're not supposed to can recipes with rice in them or something like that. Okay, I ain't dead. It worked. we're good. So, all right. If I don't show up, it's probably the stuffed peppers, right? I don't know. Let's see. JD Paul, what SHTF event do you see coming in the next 90 days? Oh, I don't know, an election. That's going to be an SHTF event in itself, okay? Because as I've said a couple of times, no matter what happens, if the Democrats keep control of the House or the Senate, there's going to be all sorts of screaming about Dominion. If the Republicans win, there's going to be all sorts of protests and oh, they're trying to kill women and do all this sort of stuff. So that's the next SHTF event, or that's the one that I'm certain is going to happen. What happens before then, who freaking knows? So somebody just said it. Robert, thank you. Did my mic fall off? No, I was like, what am I forgetting? I sat here right before we started. I'm like, now you probably hear me better. So what am I forgetting? That was what it was. Pin my mic to my shirt. So hopefully that's a little better. And I'll scroll to the bottom real quick to see if you guys say better. Okay, Moonlight Gardener, thank you for the super chat. I thought I was going to have a bumper crop of sweet potatoes, but mostly had beautiful leaves. Any idea what nutrient I was missing? Because you're growing root vegetables, it's going to be potassium and phosphorus, probably more phosphorus. I had that problem last year when I tried to grow them in my soil, and that's why I went back to growing in straw bales this year, or hay bales, or straw bales. Yes, I'll get it right yet. So I'll know in about 3.5 weeks how my sweet potatoes come out, because I've got gorgeous leaves. Better have some sweet potatoes under there. All right. That's the one thing about growing root vegetables. It's like, you don't know if it's doing good or not, or if the bugs are getting it or whatever. It's like, cross my fingers. So we'll see what happens. Okay. Leo Gillis, what do I think of Canadian Prepper? I have many string beans, favorite canned recipes. Thanks from Canada. Canadian Prepper does his thing. Okay. His channel is totally based differently than mine. He's more of a business. That's his thing. Okay. To each his own. That's pretty much what I'd say there. JB Preps, hey Pinball, have you heard anything about digital currency coming December 13th? Yeah, I did a video on it about a week or so ago. It ain't happening, okay? As much as Joe signed the executive order and everything like that, there's no infrastructure in place that's not going to happen. I'm just saying, okay? You show me one retailer right now that has any sort of credit card reader or whatever that can take digital currency. There are exactly zero. Okay, it's not like you're going to put that infrastructure together in 3 months. Okay, it's kind of the same thing with electric cars. Great idea, except until you have the infrastructure, forget it. Lori, thank you for the super chat, and Kelly, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate you both. Let's see. Nothing to no one in particular. Airplane versus volcano movie. My money's on the volcano. Unless it's the movie Airplane, then maybe Leslie Nielsen would somehow manage to avoid all the, who knows, he wasn't the pilot. Who was the pilot? What was his name? Robert something or other. Can't remember. Robert Hayes. There we go. Let's see. Silver Possum, did I see the map of the U.S. of states that support Brittany Griner? No, but I can probably figure out which ones they are. And if you put them color-coded, I'm betting they're blue. Because, I'm sorry, that's about as stupid as you get trying to take drugs through customs. Oh, I didn't know is not a good excuse. Gee, I'm sorry, officer. I didn't realize I had a gun in my pants. Come on, I didn't realize I had, I think she had marijuana or hash or something like that in her vape pipe. Really? You're a professional athlete. You shouldn't be using that stuff anyway. If you can consider the WNBA professional athleticism. I don't know. Ask Leah Thomas if he wants to be in the NBA sometime, WNBA soon. I guess he's qualified. Identifies as a woman. I want to identify as a billionaire and see if anybody takes me seriously. Wild West. I'm living like Bigfoot in the woods for 2 weeks. One fish hook. It was a good time. I hope you're not running around naked. Yeah, I mean, getting out and doing some camping and stuff like that, I mean, is good for the soul, I guess, if you will. Chance to reconnect a little bit. It's like, all right, what's for dinner tonight? I don't know. What did you catch today? Well, I caught a couple of fish. I got nothing. Guess you ain't eating. That's, start. You learn real quick on minimalist camping, not glamping, camping, on minimalist camping, what the world could really go to, sleeping on the ground, maybe if you're lucky, you've got some sort of shelter, a tent. If not, you're building a lean-to. But, when all of a sudden your entire day is trying to find something so you can eat, that's all you're doing, whether it's foraging, whether it's hunting, whether it's fishing. Your only objective is to make it to tomorrow. And I mean, that's when you wake up to SHTF and go, yeah, there's no doing this all day long because I'm hungry. Rose, thanks to all the mods. Trash disposal is an underappreciated or unappreciated job. That's greatly appreciated here. Let's see. In the woods, black spots on pole beans. What is it? Chances are it's mold. It's definitely a disease. I would probably say it's moldy spore. But the best thing you can do with that is pull all the beans that have the black spots on them, get rid of them before they cross-contaminate the rest of them. Buzzard Prepper, any tips for growing garlic in Tennessee? Month to plant, when harvest expected? I have good luck in garlic every year. You will plant your garlic somewhere between Halloween and November. And you will, or Halloween and Thanksgiving, I'm sorry. Halloween and November. It's like, okay, you got a 4-hour window to Halloween and Thanksgiving, and you will harvest in July. And don't, like I've said many times, don't waste your money buying these $6 cloves of garlic online or whatever. I literally get my garlic from the produce aisle at Food City or Ingles. He knows what the grocery stores are here, so and plant that, and I get beautiful garlic. So Beverly's birthday is today. Happy birthday. Let's see. Amy Anderson, have I ever canned butter? It's actually ghee, Ghee. It's Indian. That's how they preserve it. The one you want to watch on how to do that is Rudy at Alaska Prepper. Go look up a couple of his videos. He's done it and gives a very, very thorough video on how to do it. It's not hard, okay? But definitely worthwhile for having butter for, buttering your bread or, biscuits or muffins or whatever, stuff that you're going to make in an SHTF situation. Because remember this, guys, we all concentrate on staples. Please, please, please make sure you are also prepping some sort of comfort food. Not only for yourself, but especially for the kids, or in my case, the wife, because if she doesn't have her comfort food, I'm in trouble. See if I didn't get a glare, so that was good. But yeah, make sure you have some comfort food, something that's going to be a treat or whatever. I don't care if it's sour ball candies or something like that. Something like that that's like, okay, one little taste of something sweet or savory or, whatever you have. Make sure you have something like that. Uh, Savage Lee, other than food and medicine, what is the next most important prep? Actually, you forgot the absolute most important prep, and that's water. Uh, that's your most. Remember, was it 3 minutes without air, 3 days without water, and 3 weeks without food? Well, who cares if you get to 3 weeks without food if you never make it 3 days? Okay, so I'm assuming you're probably lumping that in. Then it comes into a point of personal uh, need, but I'll throw the other one that you haven't mentioned in there, and that's shelter. Because, if you are, I mean, right now, do you want to be sleeping outside and 70, 80, 90-degree temperatures, getting eaten up by mosquitoes all night? Probably not. Winter's around the corner. Do you want to be sleeping outside? You probably want shelter somehow. It's supposed to rain for a week. I don't feel like being out in the rain for a week. So, yeah. Food, water, shelter, medicine, those four are your absolute musts. Okay. Basic needs. After that, everything is a luxury. Power is going to be a luxury. Light is going to be a luxury, whatever it would be. But food, water, shelter, those are basic human needs. Michael G., I'm in South Central Kentucky and still have tomatoes growing. Will they be okay? Oh, yeah. I mean, you'll be fine growing tomatoes all the way up until the first frost. The reason we finally took out, and we didn't take out all our tomatoes. I've still got a whole plot of tomatoes that are growing like crazy. We just took out the ones that started to get diseased, and I've already pulled all the seeds from them. It's the two that I'm sending you guys, the Siberian Earlies and this Carney Padovchevs. We pulled all those. I've taken all the tomatoes. I've got the seeds. The plants were starting to die off, getting diseased, stuff like that. It's like, okay, I'm going to get rid of that now. My other sets of tomatoes are still growing fine, so we will keep going. It's not like I'm out of tomatoes. You'll have tomatoes growing until first frost. Prep Rebel. Biden? Who is Biden? My vision has been blocked by a pair of sparkle socks. As long as your brain isn't blocked by that idiot. Okay. It doesn't sound like I heard rain outside, but not yet. Julie Pooley, what weed barrier do you use in your garden? Mine is shredded to bits. Email me. I will send you the link to it. I hang on. I can try to look. It'll take me a minute here. I bought it last year, and I mean, it held up fabulously, so I'm not complaining whatsoever. Let's go back to 2021. Let's see. I gotta find it. I'm sorry. Here it is. It's called Happy Buy, and I got the 3.2 ounce one. I'll put the link to it down in the comments real quick. And let me get back to this screen. There you go. If you want to take a look at it, I just put the link down there. So there it is. Okay. Carol Lewis, good evening, Pinball. Me and hubby just cut up 10 cabbages and put in a ferment for kraut. There you go. I've got my cabbage seedlings going. Those will probably go in the ground here sometime this week for sure. We'll see, because they're still small. Maybe they grow, maybe they don't. I'm not overly concerned about it. Mrs. P and I put up a ton of cabbage, but if I can get some more fresh in the fall, my personal way of looking at things, I always look at my fall garden as, if I get something, great. If I don't, no big loss, okay, because it's just bonus. I tried a second planting of potatoes, didn't work. Okay, so I just put the bed to rest, put the bed to bed. But that's just because of weather here, because it will go from 80, 90 degrees and then all of a sudden it's cold. So I'm hoping I can get some cabbage going, some beets going, but we'll see. Gizmo, can I store vacuum sealed canning jars with the rings on a boat? Every inch is valuable. I've never done vacuum sealed canning jars. I know there's some tool out there that you can do it. So that's, again, I'd recommend that would be a question for Lisa over at Sutton's Days, the canning guru. I would ask her on one of her lives. She usually goes live on Monday nights. Fox Any, what was the movie with Dwayne Johnson? Was the movie with Dwayne Johnson category 7? No, that wasn't it. I cannot remember the name of that movie. San Andreas. There we go. That's what it was. There you go. Can't remember it, and it popped into my head. HJ's video, one positive about Biden. The probability is high that the next president will be better. Yeah, you can't guarantee it, because if he kicks the bucket overnight, that means Kamala Harris is president, and then you can guarantee that the next president is worse. So, yeah, it was funny. I was reading a story on one of the news. I think it was actually on Fox today, and somebody says, "Oh, Trump was the worst president ever." I'm like, really? I said, where the hell have you been? You know what? Low unemployment, low gas prices, secure border, low crime, blah, blah, blah. I said, what do you want? I said, do you like $4 a gallon gas and 9.5% or 9% inflation? I said, that's good. I said, come on, let's think about this. Go back in my lifetime of history, okay, back to 1966. Let's look at the quality Democrats we've had as president, okay? Biden, Obama, Carter, I'd say those are probably the top 3 worst presidents ever. Bill Clinton's going to come in the top 10, and that only leaves one other Democrat, and that's Lyndon Johnson, who isn't exactly going down in history as one of the good ones. Not that I'm going to say Richard Nixon or George Bush or anything were any great shakes, but yeah, my odds are a little better to the right than to the left. Let's see. JD Paul, when canning correctly, how long will the food last stored in a cool, dry area? Shelf life? Again, it depends on what you're doing, but in this one, I'll defer to Rudy over at Alaska Prepper, just because he's done the test. He's opened stuff that he's canned in 2012, 2013, 10 years, 9 years old, and it's still good, okay? I can't do something like that because I wasn't canning back 10 years ago, so I can't say that. So I will defer to somebody who's done it and shown it. So, but it depends on the food. Some is going to last longer than others. Okay, we already answered that one. Socks the Cat rules. Is there a difference between ball canning jars and off-brands? Are both okay? I will give you, it depends. Ball and Kerr are the same company, okay? It's just 2 different names, okay? But those are the exact same. I know some people like these 4 jars lids. I've never used them, so I can't speak for them or anything like that. And guys, you got to remember too, I've only been canning this is my 2nd year of canning, so I'm no expert. But the one thing I will say, at least my opinion here, I ordered some, I think I told you guys the story, this is about a year ago. I ordered some canning jars from Amazon, ball canning jars. And they came in a box that said ball on it and everything like that. Until I looked at the lids, and the lids didn't look right. So I looked at the side of the box, and there was a misspelling in the instructions, which told me instantly, made in China, crap. And so I got a hold of Amazon, and Amazon gave me my money back, okay? So be careful when you're buying these things, because, especially with lids or something like that, your life can be at stake with something like that. I'd say, personal opinion, stick to the names you know. In my case, I stick to ball. That's it. Period. To each his own. Uh, Hello, Dave. Any safe spray for ants on apple trees? Uh, the hell is this stuff, honey? What's that white powder called for the trees that I've got upstairs? Huh? Oh, kale and clay. Yes, there we go. I couldn't think of the name. I'm getting old, guys. The mind's going. Get some kale and clay. Uh, Kaolin. You can spray that. You mix it with water, spray it on your trees. It'll leave like a white, pasty residue on the trees that is sticky, and the bugs get into it, and they don't like it whatsoever. So that would be that will prevent bugs from getting in. Now, obviously, you don't want to spray it when the tree is flowering because you don't want to get it in the flowers, but the bees and everything, they don't care about the leaves. The only thing you're worried about is the flowers. So don't spray it when it's flowering, but any other time is fine. Michelle J., if you could not buy commercial pest control, what would you use to take care of bugs? Depends on the bug, and I'm going to go back to something that I referenced a long, long time ago. Was a book by Jerry Baker that's called Terrific Tonics. Jerry Baker's long since passed at this point, but it is an excellent book for anything, bug killers, how to get stains out of clothes, how to make fertilizers, whatever would be, all out of stuff that you have at home. Okay. Uh, you know, whether it's vinegar or bleach or corn cobs or whatever would be. But each bug is going to be different. So I can't give you a one specific that's going to get rid of everything. But I would suggest go online, find that in a used bookstore or something. I remember when I recommended it, people were like, I got it for $1. Yeah, I mean, it's a great reference book to have for SHTF because it's going to tell you how to make all that stuff that you aren't going to be able to buy, or in a lot of our cases, who don't want to spend the money or don't want to put the chemicals in our yard. So we use the natural resources that we have to, do whatever it is, killing weeds with vinegar or whatever it would be, as opposed to putting Roundup out or something. Rebel Big Dog Ma, Rebel Canners Rock, our grandparents did it. Yeah. I mean, that's the mindset we've got to have, guys. Start thinking like they did in the 1800s and probably all the way through about 1960. Okay. What did people do? They knew how to store food. They knew how to, they learned these things down the generations, and then the 1960s 1970s rolled along, and everybody's like free love and free sex and all this sort of stuff, and the old ways are nothing. Now it's like crap, I just order it on Amazon. Hey, I want to eat dinner, where's Uber Eats? It's like no, okay, that ain't all going to exist. Could be very soon. Huts John, I can't stay inside the lines when I color. Okay. Winona Halen, been trying to connect for last 7 minutes, just keeps spinning. It's got to be something on your end because obviously the chat's coming through like crazy and people are able to. So, Michaela Camberos, can you provide your insight on the alleged digital currency? Like I said earlier, I did a video on this. It's not going to happen. I explain why. Again, guys, remember, just because it's an executive order, it's not an act of God. Okay, Biden could sign an executive order tomorrow that demands that all men have sex changes and identify as women effective, September 1st. Doesn't mean it's going to happen. Okay, so just because he put it out, like I said, very simple. There ain't no infrastructure for it. Romy Davis, I really don't think we'll make it to November. I hope we do, personally. Gloria Hubert, what happens to digital currency if the grid goes down? Another reason why I keep saying that December 13th is not going to happen is because our electric grid can't handle what we have now. Okay? Ask Texas about that. You know, it's like, oh my God, it's a storm. The power's out. Okay? So let's see. We want to go to completely digital money, which has got to have electricity. Oh, I'm sorry, the power's out. You're broke. Okay, we want to go to electric cars. I told you guys about that. Just to power the cars in the country, just the cars, we would have to cover the entire state of Utah and Nevada on solar panels. Okay, entire state. Yeah, not happening. Okay. Wyoming Yeti, best way to get rid of poplar volunteer trees without killing the spruces. They're everywhere. I tell you this, you got no choice. You got cut them down. That's it. Get out there with loppers or chainsaw or whatever you need, depending on the size, and start cutting them down. Penny Willis, I planted potatoes and had great plants, but no yield. What was my soil lacking? Again, you were lacking potassium and or phosphorus in there. So that's bone meal is going to be your friend with potatoes. When you plant your potatoes, get a good amount of bone meal on the ground. I showed you guys last year how to make your own. Again, this is the time of year. If you're not saving your chicken bones and everything like that, start doing it now. Chicken bones are the easiest to do. Beef bones are harder because they're hard to crush. But chicken bones, turkey bones, that's what I showed you. I think it was the day after Thanksgiving. I showed you guys last year crushing up all my turkey bones to make bone meal. And we just do it with the chicken. And it's real simple. Boil all the meat off the bones till you get the bone, just the bone. Throw them in the oven for a while to dry. Once they dry, I just snap them in half and run them through a blender, break them up into a powder, and poof, now I've got bone meal for free. So using everything, kind of goes back in, again, somebody was asking natural remedies. There's your natural bone meal. Because you go to the store and buy bone meal, it's expensive. But very good. It's almost an absolute must, depending on your soil, for potatoes. Excuse me. Lori Cower got the pickles done and the dilly beans and 45 quarts of spaghetti sauce. Have some more sauce cooking. That's a lot of spaghetti sauce. Not a bad thing to have, though, because, I don't know how big your family is, but I'm guessing if you've got 45 quarts of it going, you're probably feeding more than 2 people. So I'll take a guess that, let's say you use 2 quarts of sauce per meal to feed the family. Okay? If you do that, it means you've got 22 meals. You got 3 weeks worth of food. That's how you need to look at it. Oh my God, 45 is a lot. Yes, 3 weeks worth of food. If it's just the 2 of you and you go through 1 quart, that's 6 weeks worth of dinners. Okay, you still got 46 other dinners, 46 weeks of other dinners to do through the year, and we haven't even talked about breakfast or lunch. So when you think, oh my God, that's a lot, break it out that way and you go, and it's squat. It's good to have, but I need more. New channel. Did you or will you grow pumpkins? I haven't grown pumpkins in probably near 20 years. And my reason is this, just because pumpkins spread so much, you got to have a large dedicated area to plant pumpkins. I think I told you guys last time I did it, I planted 3 pumpkin seeds. That was it. Okay. And it completely took over a garden that was probably about 8 by 20. And and it would have gone further, but as I was going around the garden, I'd mow off the end of the leaves because it just kept going, and I got 8 or 10 pumpkins out of it. Okay. Am I going to use that kind of garden space for that kind of yield? No way. If you've got some useless area out in the corner of the yard or something that nobody goes to, and you can throw some pumpkin seeds out there, hey, go for it. But as for planting as a crop, I'll leave that to farmers. Custom Carl, what's the best way to compost hard-boiled eggshells? Okay. First off, after you boil, I mean, just like raw eggshells, you want to wash them, dry them out. Okay, make sure you can either let them air dry on the counter for a week or so, or you can stick them in the oven. I prefer sticking them in the oven because then if there's any sort of bacteria on there or whatever, I kill it. And then I just literally put it in a Ziploc bag, a gallon Ziploc bag, leave the little crack open so some air can get out, and I go over it with a rolling pin. Powder it up, put it in a mason jar, stick it away, and then I don't compost it. I put it in the holes for my plants, for my tomatoes and peppers in the spring when I plant, because then it's a source of calcium. And I know there's a video out there saying, oh, it doesn't work. Fine. I'm going to go by my experience doing this for 20 years. It works. Okay. It's amazing. When I don't put eggshells in, I get blossom end rot. When I don't put when I do put eggshells in, I don't. DR, what would you put in raised garden beds after harvest to prep them for spring? Okay, so this is exactly what I'm doing now. I showed you guys a week or so ago all my grass clippings, raking up all my grass clippings. I'm throwing them right on top of the beds. A, it acts as a weed preventer. B, it's organic material that's going to rot. Grass clippings are great. Okay, the two best things that you can make compost out of are grass clippings and leaves. We aren't to the point yet where we got leaves on the ground, but you've seen my yard, you know I'll get plenty. Okay. So I will be dumping the grass clippings and the leaves into my garden, and that will compost over the winter. I've also got my compost pile at back, which is now enormous because it's got the newest one's got all the corn stalks and all the tomato plants and everything like that have all been pulled. So I've got the compost that I started making early spring, which is now compost, and I've got all the stuff that I'm ripping out of the garden now, which is a new pile. That'll be my spring compost. So I'll take all the good stuff, put that in my garden this fall, mix it with those grass clippings and everything and the leaves to get microbial life going in there to start decomposing all that stuff. Then in spring, I will put all the stuff that's composting I'm pulling out of the gardens now over the top and get even more. So it's building soil. So I said to Mrs. P before the live stream, we were sitting out on a porch with the dogs. And I said, yeah, the time for growing food is over. I said, now it's time for me to spend the next 6 months growing soil. So that's it. Because again, remember guys, the plants that you grew sucked a lot of the nutrients out of that soil that you've got in your garden. You need to replenish that. You can either do it chemically or you can do it naturally. Chemically will cost you money. Naturally will just cost you work. And I got plenty of energy and not plenty of money. So, that'll work that way. Rolling on down the list. Somebody says, wouldn't Pelosi be third in line? Yeah, for the next 3 months. I mean, actually the next 5, because it would, the House is going to flip. Okay. So there's an extremely good chance that come January that Kevin McCarthy's the next Speaker of the House. I'm not a big fan of Kevin McCarthy, but it seems to be right now he's the House Minority Leader. So yeah, if we could kick Joe and Cammie out, we'd actually have McCarthy as the president for the remainder of the term, which want to talk about riots, that would make heads roll. And I'd laugh all the way to the bank. Okay. Elaine Pruden, I'm thinking we're heading for the 1970s inflation and interest rates within a year. What do you think? Again, this is something I did a video on maybe about a month or so ago, comparing this to 1973, 74. In my eyes, it is the spitting image to what's going on. Aggressive Fed raising of rates until they realize they screwed up, then aggressive cutting of rates, which is what's going to wind up happening again, I think, because this soft landing stuff ain't happening, guys. Okay. And I think this is going to be very much like the 1970s, because God knows, the people in charge of the Fed certainly can't learn from history, or don't want to. Prepping for heaven. Any good ways to get rid of yellow jackets nesting between the front porch and the house? At that point, I'd get yourself some wasp spray and take it out. That would be, one of those where you jet sprays where you spray the nest and get rid of them. There's no other way. I'm going after yellow jackets. Rice-A-Roni says ball jars are no longer made here. Since when? Okay. 4-jars lids are great. I've never used 4-jars lids. I can't say anything for them. But what do you mean ball jars are no longer made here? Okay. They're not coming from Mars. So. T's amazed. Did your wingman buy his property? He's looking. He hasn't found anything. But, the other key is he needs to find a job. So trying to help any way I can, but I don't have a whole lot of connections in the engineering realm. If it was IT, that'd be different. But it's been a while since I've done engineering recruiting, and none of it was in Tennessee. Crazy Rabbit Lady, what's a good way to store gasoline? Should a stabilizer be added? If you're going to store it, yes, I would suggest a stabilizer, but because fuel stabilizer is not cheap, and certainly gas isn't cheap, and no reason to make the gas even more expensive, and I've suggested this many times, rotate your gas with the seasons, okay? What do you buy gas for in the summer? Okay, I got to run a lawnmower, depending on where you are. What do you got to buy gas for in the winter? Okay, I got to buy gas for the snowblower, let's just say. But if you have gas for 6 months, it's going to be fine. Take the gas, you bought your gas in the spring for your lawnmower. Probably bought some more sometime midsummer, depending on how big your yard is. Once you put the lawnmower away for the year, and let's say you don't have a snowblower, take all that gas that you've got left over, put it in your car, and then go buy new gas in your gas cans. You're going to use your car. Then come springtime, if you had a snowblower, if you didn't have a snowblower, it doesn't matter. Whatever gas you've got in before you go to mow the lawn, take all that gas, put it in your car, and go get fresh. That's the best way to do it to save money and make sure you've got fresh gas. Eric F. Pinball, how much cash reserves before paying off debt? Okay. My suggestion, okay, and again, Dave Ramsey will tell you different, a whole bunch of people will tell you different. My suggestion is have 3 months worth of reserves to pay your bills, okay? Your mortgage, your car payments, your gas, gasoline, food, electric, water, internet, whatever it would be. Everybody can go through and figure out what their monthly bills are. Have 3 months worth of that put back before you start knocking out debt, because the last thing you want to have happen is you have no cash and you're paying off credit cards, and then you find someplace that you can't use a credit card. And I'll give you a perfect example for this. You guys know I'm building the garage, okay? The trades that are coming out here, unless they're, the guys that poured the concrete, nope, can't take credit card. The guys that laid the cinder block, nope, don't take a credit card. I need to have cash for that. So, and those, granted, everybody's not building a garage, but try going to the farmer's market and using a credit card. Maybe if they've got Square with their phone, they'll take it. Chances are not, okay? So, make sure you've got, my rule of thumb is 3 months worth of cash. Uh, a Cushnet prepper. Jack Kennedy wasn't bad. At least he didn't drive a car into the Chappaquiddick off a bridge. Yeah, he just drove into everything else with two legs. That was it. But we'll leave it there. Rose says for canning jar lids, look at Sutton's Days channel. Yeah, Lisa's a big fan of 4 days, or 4 jars. I'm sorry. Like I said, I can't make a comment on them. I've never used them. So, Romy says when it comes to jars, you get what you pay for. I agree. I mean, when I use ball or cur jars exclusively, and I use ball lids exclusively. And yes, every 50, 60 jars, I'll get one that doesn't seal. And chances are that was my fault that I didn't wipe the rim off good enough. It could have been there was a bad lid or something like that. Sure. I mean, no company's perfect. There's going to be a defective product every once in a while. I'll take that, 50, 60, something like that. I mean, I've had a couple of fail this year. Me, myself, do I ever reuse my lids? Okay, that's a loaded question because anything that I pressure can or water bath can, no, I do not reuse my lids. But anything I dry can, I mean, my fertilizers, okay, I dry can all of that, okay? I'm not pressure canning my urine. Yeah, those I reuse for that. But I mean, if it's pressure can or if it's water bath can, no. I don't want. If there's a chance that the lid's not going to work if it's brand new, why am I going to take even a greater chance that it's not going to work if I try to save the 10 cents or whatever it is on reusing a lid? Some people may want to do it. I'm not risking it because then that's food I'm throwing away at that point. April Wicker, how do I store my potatoes and onions? Let's see. Okay, potatoes. I've got the root cellar that I showed you guys how to make last year. Okay, I'll store some there. I can a lot of the potatoes as well. I mean, Mrs. P and I pulled out some canned potatoes. Was it this morning or yesterday? I don't know. Days run together. Fried them up for home fries. Perfect, and she's like, I love this. She goes, I didn't have to sit there for 20 minutes stirring fries, 5 minutes in there because they're pre-cooked, but they're not mush. Onions, the root cellar is good for that, or we pickle a lot of our onions. I love pickled onions. Pickled onions, pickled garlic, yeah, okay. But that's... Yeah, I mean, those are basically the two ways we save potatoes and onions. 615entertainmentagency.com. Okay. I saw a woman pay $12.40 for $12.40 for an 8-pound bag of potatoes at Walmart about an hour ago. The cashier was shocked to see the price on a small amount of potatoes as she rang it up. $1.50, that's more than $1.50 a pound for potatoes. Okay? That's nuts. Now, I get that Yukon Gold potatoes are more expensive. There's different costs on potatoes and stuff like that. But $1.50 a pound for potatoes, I mean, come on, it wasn't that long ago that we were paying that for ground beef, and you still can get chicken in a lot of places for $1.50 a pound. If I get my choice of something to eat, if it's chicken or potatoes, I'm going for chicken. All right. Yeah. I mean, potatoes are very easy to grow. All right. The garden potatoes will grow in crap soil, guys. Mind you this. I mean, Idaho is not known for its wonderful soil. Grow bags, a kiddie pool. I mean, you can grow potatoes in about any container, 5-gallon bucket, just grow your own potatoes, especially seeing as how there's going to be a potato shortage and a tomato shortage. Those are two very easy crops to grow that if you grow them, you're fine. If not, you're going to be paying out the nose in the grocery store to buy potatoes and tomatoes. It's like, really? I want a burger and fries. Well, I'm sorry, you can't have tomatoes, sir. You can't have fries. It's like, oh, by the way, you can't have the beef either. So here's your piece of bread with a piece of lettuce on there. That'll be $8, sir. New channel. How did I spell the clay? Kaolin. Kaolin. Yep, there you go. Somebody, Patrice, they made kale and clay with DE added to it. That would work well. Yes. Diatomaceous earth, in case you guys don't know what DE is. See, it tells you how far back I am when you guys are asking these questions. Booktube Becca, I use food-graded diatomaceous earth and wood ash for bugs and ants. That again, you got to remember though. Let's talk SHTF situation. Wood ash, yes, you're going to be able to get. Diatomaceous earth, no. Okay, so unless you've got a lot of it stocked, that's a resource that's not going to be available to you. Horror's crazy. Hi, Pinball. How do you keep deer out of your garden? I don't have that much of a problem. I did have a little bit of deer damage in my corn. They probably ate about 6 ears of corn. They ate about half of it. And I don't have that much of a problem. But what I did try was some of Billy's bone sauce. And I've talked about that a couple of times. And I put that around my sweet potatoes. And either the deer my corn, my sweet potatoes are right next to each other, guys. The deer did not touch my sweet potatoes, so I'm guessing that Billy's bone sauce worked perfectly. I mean, obviously, if you don't know Permapasture Farms YouTube channel, but I learned about Billy's bone sauce from watching Danny on Deep South Homestead, and then Billy got a hold of me after I tried some of this out and everything like that. I was like, stuff works. So if you're interested in that, go to Permapastures Farms on YouTube. Look up Billy's bone sauce, and I can't say anything bad about it because I can't guarantee that's the reason, but all I can tell you is this: I ain't got no deer. Around my sweet potatoes, which are right next to my corn, they did go into my corn. Name of the book again, please. Author is Jerry Baker. Real simple. The book is Terrific Tonics. Rice-A-Roni, many of the Amish only hot water bath can. Yes, I mean, obviously I'll agree with you there. I'm not going to, if they know what they're doing, great. I'm not risking it, okay? I'll come as close as I can. I'll follow the instructions in the ball book. Then I know you're going to say, but you do zucchini and rice. Yeah, okay. Still, it's got meat in it for the rice. It's going in for 90 minutes for a quart. Yeah, I'm good. Prep Rebel, how do I deal with deformed cucumbers? I eat them. Okay. Again, and you guys have heard me say this over and over and over again. I'm not growing to win blue medals or blue ribbons. I'm growing for food. I don't care if a cucumber's curved or crooked or whatever it is. If it's edible, it's food. That's it. Okay. Yes, I know the grocery store has all the nice, pretty cucumbers and they're all nice and straight and uniform in size. I don't care. I want to eat. So. Let's see. Oh, it's 9:59. All right, I'll just look for something here real quick. My prepper journey, starting my fall garden in grow bags this week. Second round of tomatoes, garlic, onions, and broccoli. There you go. Good deal. You must live down south if you're going to try tomatoes in a fall garden, because I know I don't have enough time here to do it for sure. Conserve Friends potatoes, $6.99 for an 8-pound bag at Safeway. Well, it's 90 cents a pound. Getting better. August Blue saw today some Wendy's locations will no longer put lettuce on hamburgers. Lettuce shortage. I haven't heard that. I mean, that's a rough one. Lettuce is simple to grow. So who knows there? Terry Hardaway, what are the steps of pickling? Please reference a past video if available. I believe you're going to have to go look on the playlists. I believe I did a video on our pickle recipe, and what else? I pickled something else. I think forget what it was, but I'm almost certain there's a video in the Cooking with Mrs. Pinball playlist. All right, one more if I can find one real fast. Let me answer that one again, and I know it's 10 o'clock. I'm going to run out of questions here. Okay. Well, guys, I don't want to step on anybody's toes here, and I can't, I'm way at the bottom here. Here, Lisa Prapp says, what has been my best crop this year? I've got to say it was our tomatoes. I mean, we had so many tomatoes and still have so many tomatoes. It's unbelievable. I can't process them fast enough. This has been a bumper year for tomatoes. So it's actually, for me, it's actually been a pretty good gardening year. The only failures I had were my radishes, my radishes, my carrots, and I think both of those were due to temperature, and the pole beans, and I can't figure out what the hell was wrong with the pole beans. So, but that's it. All right, y'all. Have a good evening, and we will see you all tomorrow morning. Pinball out.